Did you check the William Webb Ellis Cup? Was our name still there?
Yeah, I watched it carefully. It's two and then us and then two and then there's a gap. So maybe there's a. Yeah, I mean it's. I just think it's an unbelievable experience. Then it's players can't wait to start now. Everything's been so professionally run, and to have an added bonus of meeting Madiba today and listening to him talk and being so close to him and seeing how genuine he is about South Africa, about the Springboks. I mean, the reaction he had when he saw Oosterrand was almost special,
And something else that has been absolutely apparent is that the French in Noisy-le-Grand, they've taken you to their hearts.
Yeah, I mean, you saw. I mean, they've gone there, they've painted Ndebele paintings on the wall. They've gone and put some posters up, that hold it. They've relayed the turf for us at the stadium. I mean, they've, it's been incredible just how far they've gone to make us feel at home and make us feel special. And, all we can do now is make sure we deliver on the field. So, I think that's, again, the vibe that the players have picked up, is that it's something really special. And I mean, it gets more and more special as we go along. Again, even as I say, I'm repeating myself, but I mean, here it is again, 2 days before we start our campaign and we meet Nelson Mandela. Just one thing, having a look at you guys with the trophy, it's a golden trophy, and I must tell you, it goes really well with dark green. Jeez, it does, It does, Dan. It's, I mean, it's a special time for all of us, and there's a lot to play for. I mean, let's be honest, this can be remembered as the best tournament you ever experienced in your life, changes your life. It's, you get remembered as the best Springbok side in the history of the game. I mean, those are things that if players don't get motivated for that, they're never going to get motivated. So, I mean, every bit of help and every bit of support we get, I'm sure we just put in our memory banks and make sure we use it as we have for 7 weeks.
Jake White, there has been a situation back home on radio, in the press and also in the British press about your position surrounding the Springbok coaching job. Could you enlighten us?
Yeah, I mean, you brought it to my attention this morning, Dan, when you said that, it's headlines in the papers and, obviously back home there's big talk about, going to England and all that sort of thing. I think what I need to stress is that this has happened to me before. I've been in the build-up to a big test match and obviously people have been speculating about me going abroad. My contract ends on the 31st of December this year, so I'm still, employed by SA Rugby until the end of the year. And to be fair, the only goal I'm only thinking about now is winning the World Cup on the weekend. So all this talk about, leaving and coaching in different countries is, I suppose, it's just speculative pieces and also just trying to maybe sidetrack the focus of the team. And, I can tell you that the team are fully aware that we have to win the World Cup.
One of the angles that has been taken is that you have decided to move on. What is the situation?
Well, I mean, when you say decided to move on, I think it's very difficult now in the middle of a World Cup to decide whether you're staying or going. I mean, my whole focus, as I've always said when I took on the job, is to win the Rugby World Cup. And I think when you're in the middle of this, to think about anything else would be silly, So, as it stands now, as I said, I'm contracted till the end of the year. I've loved coaching the Springboks. I mean, I really enjoy this job. It's something that's been, deep inside me for a long time now, and it's been part of my life for 4 years. So the only focus now is about not whether I stay or go or where I go. I mean, the reality is that we just want to make sure we prepare everything we can for the greatest game of our careers on Saturday.
Do you think it's going to be a distraction for the team?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the team are probably used to the fact that every single week or every second week there's something, that tries to derail the whole campaign. I mean, they know they're focused about winning the Rugby World Cup. I mean, we've spoken about on numerous occasions. There was talk about players not being able to play if they went abroad, and there was talk about some players retiring, and they talk about who's going to take over as a new coach. I mean, every time there's something that pops in, it's always used there, supposed to try and defocus the team. And all I can say and stress to the public is, our goal is still exactly the same as when we left. We had to win the Rugby World Cup, and we're doing everything we can to focus on this weekend's fixture.
And what is the mood in the squad? Because you managed to keep them away from these things.
Well, it also helps that you're in France because they can't read the French papers and they can't understand the French language. So, it's only when you get, messages back home or from home or obviously from the UK. And it is ironic that we're playing England this weekend and all of a sudden the English journals are talking about, my link to the English Rugby Union. So, I mean, we've been there, we've done it. Apparently, I was at Twickenham a couple of years ago signing a contract as well, which was not true. And all I can do is stress, I mean, I'm the Springbok coach. I'm the Springbok coach until the 31st of December this year. Sure, there are speculations going around, but what happens post-World Cup? Where are you going to go? There's countries that are looking for coaches. I mean, every week there's a new country that's looking for a new coach. And, all I can stress is I'm loving the Springbok job. I really want to be part of Springbok Rugby. I've enjoyed every minute of being part of this team. But the most important thing is we want to win the World Cup on Saturday.
You've been linked to almost every country that is going to be without a coach after the World Cup. Have you had discussions with anybody?
No, I haven't had formal discussion with anybody, but obviously you get all these sort of calls and inquiries about would you consider post-World Cup, staying on in international rugby. And I've made it quite clear, I think once you coach international rugby, it is something that's part of you and it goes into your blood. Eddie says to me every week when he sits next to me in a test match, as the teams take the field and the anthems are playing, this is what it's all about. And he's quite right. When you're involved in it, you only really miss it when you're not part of it. And so as I said, Dan, I can't overstress the fact that no matter what people say out there, no matter what speculation there is, no matter how many jobs have come up in the last couple of weeks, no matter how many will come up in the next couple of weeks, there's only one job at hand, and that's making sure we win the Rugby World Cup on Saturday.
One thing that was cleared up was the situation of applying for your own job. Apparently that is no longer necessary.
Well, again, I haven't even heard about that. And because I'm not really interested in whether you have to apply or not apply. As I stand, the reality was when I left the shores of South Africa, it was mission Rugby World Cup. It was making sure we win the World Cup. When I get back, there's a review and there's going to be obviously discussions about what happened, where we are, what is going to happen. But, the state president, Thabo Mbeki, said to me in his last words when we were at his house in Tainais in Pretoria, said to us, the bottom line is go out there, forget about the political agendas, go there and win the tournament, And to get obviously a message like that from your state president means everything, and that's what we've done. We've come here on the basis of winning the Rugby World Cup. When we get back, I'll have a review, I'll have a meeting with my bosses. I've still got another 2 months in my contract, and I'm sure whatever's meant to be post-World Cup will be.
Right. Winning the Rugby World Cup. Can England turn around 36 points?
Well, I think, again, people must see things in perspective. It's a Rugby World Cup. It's not just a fixture. They have 10 guys in their squad who've won a World Cup in 2003. That's an unbelievable advantage to have when you're going into a World Cup. Because it's unknown territory. How do you focus or how do you get yourself ready for a Rugby World Cup final unless you've actually played in one, And to have 10 guys there, Dan, is obviously the first bonus that they have. The second one is that they didn't have a fly-off in the week they played us. They lost Ollie Barkley and Johnny Wilkinson in the build-up to that test match. And they had to play Andy Farrell and Mike Catt interchanging at 10 and 12. And I said in the post-match interviews that, let's not write England off. It's very difficult to lose your fly-off, never mind both your fly-offs in the build-up to a test match. So, the 36-0 scoreline is probably, not a true reflection of how good England have become in the last couple of weeks. But at the same time, I think we've improved as we've gone in the tournament as well. We've scored more tries than anybody. We've got the leading point scorer. We've got the leading try scorer. We've got a lot of confidence out of the fact that we've had close games and managed to show composure. And, whether they can turn around, that we'll have to see on the weekend. But we just got to make sure we stick to what we have to do.